Good morning from the office. I'm your host, BKP. We are North Georgia's only live online morning show. First, I'd like to say thank you for sharing this moment, for us sharing this moment together, this historic day. I'm humbled that you can be with me today and we could together look at the positive side of the possibilities of peace on the Korean Peninsula. I caution you to, when I say be careful, I caution you on the other networks, the negative news. You should, and I say you should, stay away from the negative news today, at least today. Okay. I want to start with Amanda. I want to do our first half hour with some very kind of serious hour, maybe 8 to 9, as serious as I can make it, because we're going to discuss several things. But last night, the President of the United States, absolutely something historic. He worked 25 straight hours. Now, a little later this morning, we're going to talk about Republicans and President Donald Trump. We're going to talk about a little later in the day the G8 summit. Okay, the G7 used to be 8. Russia's no longer there. We're going to talk about the G7 summit, how that played into yesterday or last night's agreement here, our time, Eastern Standard Time, yesterday's agreement between the President of the United States and Kim Jong-un of North Korea. We're going to talk about how Justin Trudeau, I'm not going to say ugly things, at least till 9 o'clock, about any world leader. No ugly things about world leaders or people till 9. I don't think I can keep that promise, but we're going to stay serious. First of all, last night, let's go to President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un handshake. Now, keep in mind, before we go to this video, okay, keep in mind, okay, that a lot of preparation went into place. A lot of preparation was done well in advance prep, before this happened, okay? So that's why I want you to stay away from the negative news, because they will lead you to believe, okay? They will lead you to believe that President Trump just got off Air Force One, and as they were walking down the ramp, Pompeo and John Kelly said, hey, here's how we see this thing going. And it's just not true, okay? It's just not true. You heard about him preparing for the meeting. You heard all the negatives leading up to this historic meeting. So, you know I got a list of pictures. I appreciate that. Let's go to the video first of when President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un shake hands. Let's go to that one first. Make sure I can hear the videos, okay? Thanks.
What do you hope to accomplish, sir?
Okay, at 4 a.m. this morning, President Donald Trump, that is the handshake, okay? That is the handshake. Now, we're going to break this down and give you the opposite side of all the spin this morning from the left when we're done, okay? We're going to stay serious here because this is a historic moment in time. You are living in history. And I have a closing statement today that I hope at about 9:45 you do not miss. I want to save it for my closing. I don't want to open with it this morning. So the President of the United States, he held a press conference at 4 a.m. our time. And I got up at 3:45 and I made some coffee and I had my computer and I had everything ready at 4 a.m. Now, what we just showed you is the two shaking hands, okay? The motorcades drove up last night. Both leaders got out, went to their corners. They had it all staged for them to come out from opposite sides. We'll get into the criticism and everything that has taken place. And they come out and they shook hands face to face and then turned to the camera. So did you hear the camera clicking? Wait till you get in some of the rooms and hear the cameras, the amount of cameras clicking. This was enormous. Now, but before I go too far, the press conference this morning at 4 a.m., which we will break down later in the show, Otto Warmbier, okay? All right. This is a young man that has become near and dear to the hearts of all Americans. We all know the story of him coming home basically dead, brain dead, and only days, I think, or a week after returning home, which President Donald Trump secured his release, regardless, sadly to say, of his state of health at that time. But President Donald Trump secured this young man's release, so at least he was still breathing on American soil when he got here. His family, Donald Trump says that he is very close friends with Otto's family. But I want to open the show with this. The President of the United States said Otto Warmbier did not die in vain, okay? And as sad and tragic as the death of this young man, the President of the United States said this morning in a press conference at 4 a.m. that if it wasn't for Otto Warmbier, they probably would not have been at the table yesterday. The summit may have never happened. So emotionally, there's two emotional things to take away. Forget the left and forget the World Council on Foreign Affairs and forget all the people that are sitting around those tables that are analyzing and breaking this down like it's a football game and the American team's behind, because according to them, we're always behind. But I can't be critical. I promised I wouldn't. But I want to open with that because to memorialize Otto Warmbier, the President of the United States said at 4 a.m. this morning, he is the reason. This is the biggest, could be the biggest reason they were at the table yesterday. And Otto Warmbier did not die in vain. Now, I told you yesterday on the show, I've told you several days, that the President of the United States did not go into that 45-minute one-on-one face-to-face with Kim Jong-un without saying Otto Warmbier's name. I got my money on that, okay? So to Otto's parents, to Otto Warmbier, I think the world owes you for giving your life for peace. And I don't know how that sounded and was received, but we owe you for giving your life for peace. You did not know that you were giving your life for peace. But the President of the United States said you did not die in vain. And we love you, care for you, and we care for the family in Ohio. I think they're in Ohio. And so I don't want anything going without this young man being honored this morning on the show. Second, now I don't have a picture. You can take Otto down. But the remains, okay? All right. Now, while the other networks are talking about what Trump did not get, while the other networks are talking about what Trump got only in symbolism, okay, the remains. Now, I have said on this show that the end of the war, which is coming, they're setting all that up. They're going to set everything up between the North and South. They're going to have another big ceremony. They didn't want to take last night. I said he would leave with the end of the Korean War, which he basically is leaving with the end of the Korean War, okay, because the deal is to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula, folks, and to end the war. Ending the war will have its own ceremony in its own. So, yes, the Korean War will end in an official document, North and South, big ceremony. That's coming. Second, what is very significant, because I have talked about this on this show, okay, 50-some thousand, and I don't want to forget a single one, 51,000 dead Americans in the Korean War. I've said 74. They say around 6,000. The numbers, they go back and forth on who has an actual count. But Kim Jong-un acknowledged the POWs from the Korean War, acknowledged them, acknowledged the prisoners of war, acknowledged the MIAs, missing in action, and agreed to locate, search, work anyway with the agencies that locate, do everything they have to return the remains to the United States of America. That's huge for these families. So while these pompous Harvard, Columbia, Yale, the list goes on, jackasses, while these jackasses are sitting around, if your mom and dad are sitting there and they're missing a brother or they're missing a cousin, okay, if you're sitting there today and your dad never came home and you've been one of the ones petitioning the President of the United States about your dad's remains, it is a historic day in this country to have communication with North Korea that they will acknowledge the POWs and the MIAs and are agreeing to start locating, making sure they find and return the remains of our North Korean men and women soldiers that died there. Historic day. While the jackasses are over there analyzing what Trump gave away. Nothing. All right. Two big things last night. Now, I don't want to devalue denuclearization. Don't want to in any way whatsoever. But those are the two big things that took away. Now, before we go to our first break, we start breaking some things down. We want to, again, stick with, all right, now, I want to go to President Trump and Kim Jong-un speak to press after the handshake. This is where they speak to the press after the handshake.
So, is this a reactivate for them?
I guess. They never stop.
Mr. President, how do you feel on this first night?
I feel really great. We're going to have a great discussion, and I think tremendous success. It'll be tremendously successful. And it's my honor, and we will have a terrific relationship, I have no doubt.
우리는 아주 굉장히 성공할 걸로 믿습니다. 그리고 아주 만나게 돼서 굉장히 영광스럽게 생각합니다. 아주 훌륭한 관계를 가지고 있고 아주 전혀 의심 없이 좋은 관계를 우리가 맺을 거라고 생각합니다.
여기까지 오는 길이 쉬운 길은 아니에요.
Well, it was not easy to get here.
우리한테는 우리 발목을 잡는 그 과거가 있고 또 그릇된 분변과 관행들이 우리 때로는 우리 눈과 귀를 가리우기도 했는데 우리는 모든 것을 이겨내고 이 자리까지 왔습니다.
The past worked as fetters on our limbs, and the old prejudices and practices worked as obstacles on our way forward, but we overcame all of them and we are here today.
That's true.
옳은 말씀입니다.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This way. Thank you.
Very amazing.
All right, guys, let's go.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This way.
Old prejudice are behind us, and we are here today. Look at the body language in that room. Now, I want to make sure it's very clear. I am not asking you to like Kim Jong-un this morning. I am not asking you to accept him as this great man. That I want to be very clear. It's the guy in the red tie that is a great man. It is the guy in the red tie that can leave a G7, fly 18 hours to Singapore, and cut a deal with a dictator. Now, I'm not asking you one more time to like this guy. I'm not asking you to say, well, wait a minute, how about the thousands that are in the gulags, as they call them, in North Korea, the hungry, the starving, how about the people he has killed, so on and so forth. Look, it's a known fact. All right, first of all, the kid got the country when he's 26 years old. You got to understand that man that went into the negotiations, Donald Trump. Okay, this kid is already, what is he, 36? He's still a kid. He's 36. He got the country 26 years old. He's 36, all right? He thought building up this nuclear arsenal would scare everybody into just doing whatever he wanted. It didn't work. Things got worse. He thought, as he was letting the world know, that he had ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, that he could strap a warhead and hit Guam, hit Hawaii, hit the continental United States. He thought that Barack Obama was still president. He thought that Barack Obama would send John Kerry. Now, I know literally he didn't, but this is the type. He thought, this is what he thought of you. This is what he thought of America. That once he had this developed, he watched Iran get $1.7 billion to release hostages. He thought we had the State Department of John Kerry and Hillary Clinton and Condoleezza Rice and Colin Powell and Warren Christopher and Madeleine Albright. That's what he thought. He heard great stories from his grandfather and his father on how to roll the Americans. That's what he thought. He saw us in Iran sign a deal that absolutely sucks. That's what he thought. I will get this. I will tell them there's a warhead. They will send a delegation. They will drop a pallet of cash on Pyongyang, wherever the hell that is. They will give billions. My dad got $3 billion. That's what he thought. He's a kid. And then he bumped into Donald Trump. The brakes, can you hear the brakes screeching? pump the brakes, Kim. He bumped into Donald J. Trump. And everything he thought, everything Grandpa, everything his sensei, everything his dad told him about how to roll America. In fact, remember the Oval Office. Remember, put the picture of Trump and Obama up if you can find that. Okay, I wasn't going there, but if you find, you remember when Donald J. Trump was president-elect, and he went to the Oval Office to meet with Obama, and Obama looked at him and said, "This is what will keep you up at night, North Korea." You see, North Korea knew that he was keeping Barack Hussein Obama up at night. You see, Kim Jong-un knew that this guy's ass couldn't sleep because of him. And he knew if Hillary Clinton would have been elected, that's the scariest damn thought you have this morning looking at this summit, that would not have existed, would not have taken place, and whoever the hell her Secretary of State would be today is a scary thought. See, Kim Jong-un thought Hillary would get elected, just like everybody else. He was shocked. He thought, he knew, he kept Obama up at nights. He knew a Hillary Clinton administration would send a weak signal, a weak America, a weak Secretary of State, and beg him, what can we do to at least get you to slow your nuclear program? That's what he thought. He knew he was keeping this guy up at night. And this guy tells Donald J. Trump, this is what will keep you up at night. Not Donald J. Trump. You see, one man, America, one man. We're going to do it later. One man right there. The whole world thought. The whole damn world thought at the G7 that America would get rolled. Justin Trudeau thought he could talk shit to Donald Trump and get away with it. This is what they all thought. Then they met this man, Donald J. Trump. The body language of that meeting. Now, they come out, and we're going to do this last one before we go to break. And this is a lengthy one, but this is a good show today. This is a historic day. I'm just telling you what they thought. Now, they're all the talking heads, the professor, the think tank gurus, the bow ties are out in full steam ahead. The Council of Foreign Relations is meeting today. The Bilderbergs, the friggin' International Monetary Fund, they're all meeting in a crisis meeting. Why? Because Donald J. Trump just made a deal that they don't understand why Kim came to the table. They're all meeting right now. Why do you think Kim Jong-un came to the table? What do you think brought him to the table? One man. They all thought, but he's changed it. Let's go to that last video we have. Now, this is one where, before we go to it, this is where Kim Jong-un and Donald J. Trump. So let me set this up. We have the handshake. We'll talk about that later. Okay? We have the handshake. Then they go into the room. And they sit there and they talk to the press 3 or 4 minutes. And we just played that video. So what happens after that? They go into a 45-minute one-on-one. Nobody but President Trump. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. President Trump and Kim Jong-un are in the room with translators. Nobody else. Now, for anybody that says anything about that, Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev in their first meeting did that, okay? Went into a room by themselves. So they go in there, 45 minutes, just like it was scheduled. So we don't know what happened, but the body language is good. Then they moved out, and they went into their delegation meeting. Okay, when they went to the delegation meeting, I think I have a picture there. Just put up the one I have marked. Mike number 4, just Mike number 4. That's what I named it, and I'll tell you why later. Mike number 4. So they go into the delegation meeting, and he's in there with Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State, Sarah Huckabee, the famous Sarah Huckabee Sanders, press secretary, is in there. John Kelly is in there, and the North Korean. And they have delegation talks amongst all of them until lunch. They break for lunch. They come out of lunch. And after lunch, okay, they spend several hours in there. After lunch, they come out with a surprise signing of an agreement between the two leaders stating the general facts of their meeting and stating that they will move forward in this peace agreement as it's laid out. So go ahead, let's play that video.
뒤쪽으로 가셔야 돼요.
Thank you very much. So we're signing a very important document, a pretty comprehensive document, and we've had a really great term together, a great relationship. I'll be giving a news conference at 2:30, which is in a little bit less than 2 hours, and we'll discuss this at great length. In the meantime, I believe that they'll be handing it out on behalf of Chairman Kim and myself, and we're both very honored to sign the document. Thank you.
네, 우리가 매우 중요한 문서에 서명을 하게 될 것입니다. 이 문서는 굉장히 포괄적인 문서이고 오늘 굉장히 좋은 아주 훌륭한 회담을 가졌고 또 아주 좋은 관계를 구축하였습니다. 2시 반, 즉 다시 말해서 약 2시간 후에 나는 기자회견을 할 예정입니다. 거기서 좀 더 자세하게 말씀을 드리겠습니다만은 일단 그 와중에 그동안에는 발표문이 기자들에게 배포될 것으로 알고 있습니다. 감사합니다.
Would you like to say something to the press?
우리는 오늘 역사적인 이 만남에서 지난 과거를 덮고 새로운 출발을 알리는 그 역사적인 문건에 서명을 하게 됩니다.
Today, we had a historic meeting and decided to leave the past behind, and we are about to sign a historic document.
세상은 아마 중대한 변화를 보게 될 것입니다.
The world will see a major change.
오늘과 같은 이런 자리를 위해서 노력해 주신 트럼프 대통령께 사의를 표합니다.
I would like to express my gratitude to President Trump to make this meeting happen.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Okay.
Mr. President, did he agree to indeed nuclearize?
We're starting that process very quickly, very, very quickly. Absolutely.
Mr. President, 100% denuclearization? Did you talk about auto-warm beer, sir?
Mr. Kim, did you agree to give up your nuclear arms?
You'll be seeing everything in just a little while. The letter that we're signing is very comprehensive, and I think both sides are going to be very impressed with the result. A lot of goodwill went into this, a lot of work, a lot of preparation. I want to thank everybody on both sides, Secretary Pompeo and all of his counterparts. They were absolutely fantastic.
네, 조금 후에 우리가 서명한 발표문의 내용에 대해서 곧 알게 될 것입니다. 아까도 얘기했습니다만은 매우 포괄적인 그러한 문서이고 양측이 그 결과에 대해서 굉장히 만족할 만한 결과입니다. 이 문서를 서명하고 또 이러한 그 만남을 갖기 위해서 많은 사람들이 선의를 가지고 노력했고 또 많은 준비 작업이 있었습니다. 그 양측의 그러한 작업을 해주신 분들에 대해서 감사드립니다. 거기에는 폼페오 장관뿐만 아니라 조선 측의 그러한 여러 참여자분들에게 감사드립니다.
Thank you very much. It's fantastic. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you a little bit later. And we're very proud of what took place today. I think our whole relationship with North Korea and the Korean Peninsula is it's going to be a very much different situation than it has in the past. We both want to do something. We both are going to do something. And we have developed a very special bond. So people are going to be very impressed. People are going to be very happy. And we're going to take care of a very big and very dangerous problem for the world. And I want to thank Chairman Kim. Spent a lot of time together today, very intensive time. And I would actually say that it worked out for both of us far better than anybody could have expected. I think far better. I watched the various news reports. I would say far better than anybody even predicted. And this is going to lead to more and more and more. And it's an honor to be with you. Very great honor. Thank you. Thank you to all of your representatives very much.
오늘 둘 다 뭔가 이루어내려고 싶어하고 또 둘의 특별한 관계가 오늘 시작되었습니다. 그리고 우리는 아주 여러 가지 중요한 여러 가지 문제의 해결에 시작을 했다라고 말씀드릴 수가 있습니다. 김 위원장님께 감사드리고 또 내가 보기에는 오늘 만남이 누가 기대했던 것보다 또 누가 예측했던 것보다도 좋은 만남이고 좋은 결과로 이루어질 것 같습니다. 또 앞으로 더 많은 진척이 있을 것 같고 이렇게 만나게 된 것을 영광으로 생각합니다. 김 위원장님 감사합니다.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Will you invite Chairman Kim to the White House?
Absolutely, I will.
Mr. Kim, would you like to come to Washington?
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Back to me. Okay, folks, that is the serious side of our show this morning. Now, we understand Kim Jong-un, North Korea lies. We understand that we have said up to this point, it's been said up to this point, that North Korea nothing comes out of their mouth that's not a lie. This man, you watch the body language, he took the country at 26. He thought he could push the Americans around. He's 36, I think, now. He said the world will see this change. The world will see this change, is what he said. And second, thank you, Trump, for making this meeting happen. All right? So we haven't forgot everything that's going on in North Korea. It's not all done in one day. But that's our serious side. We're running late. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to stay in a serious tone, but we're going to break some things down. A rock star was born. A star is born. He is a rock star. Oh, I'm almost giving it away. Rock star, right? And then we're going to talk about what does this mean to Republicans back home? And what will Congress do with the document? What are Chuck and Nancy saying today? Oh, damn, or, oh, thank you, Mr. President. What did MSNBC open with this morning? Joe and Minka, the communist nation there of MSNBC. Take us a break. We'll be back right after these messages. God bless America on this historic day. Take us a break.